So it's 6 o'clock on September 18th. This is the Madison Zoning Board of Adjustment. So let's stand and, George, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let's just check. We got, let's see, hold on one second. Regular, regular, you're regular. So we need, at least until Sharon shows up, we need to have somebody elevated to Jake. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
And you don't have to mess around trying to be elevated for
That's good.
idolize.
That's good because I'd
Probably mess it up anyway.
No, I'd probably have a conflict of interest.
Oh, that's, oh, okay, yeah, okay, great, okay. So, we're elevating Jake to voting status for this particular hearing. And we only have one hearing on the docket tonight, so Kate, would you go ahead and...
Sure. Case number 2405, variance request from Sally Ann Cardarelli. One rule of tax map 109 lot 132 of Article 5, section 5.9, the zoning ordinance to permit a 10-foot by 16-foot deck on the right front corner of the existing house, which would only be 36 feet to the center of the road. And that was published in the Colony Daily Sun on August 30th. And all my certifieds went out on August 28th, and they were posted in the town website, town hall, post offices on August 28th, and everything's good.
Okay, we got all the...
Yep.
Do we get any responses back from the butters?
No, I think some people, when I wasn't in the office, I was out doing the mail, some people came in just to look at the, inquire about it, and they had no problems.
Okay. Okay, so conflict of interest. George, conflict of interest? I do not.
No.
No?
No.
No?
No.
No. Okay, so there's no conflict of interest on the board. Waiver request. This is a certified plot plan from 1990, which has the existing dwelling on it. Technically, we don't have a certified plan with the measurement of the proposed deck. Does anybody have a problem?
No.
So there's not a formal request, and I think since this is certified, I think we don't need to address that question. Okay, regional impact. Anybody think this has regional impact?
No.
Not going to affect the river in Sacramento. Okay. No regional impact. It's formalities we have to go through. Yeah. Okay. So what I need to do now is, I assume you intend to speak, so we need to swear you in, and then you'll have the opportunity to present your case. The board can ask questions, and then, so you're aware of the procedure, then the public hearing, at some point, when we're all satisfied, we've exchanged whatever information we need, then we'll close the public hearing, and then the board will do a deliberation. That deliberation, you're allowed to stay. It's a public meeting, but it's not, there's no longer public participation. Okay, so that's how this evening will go. So with that much said, can I swear you in? Please stand and raise your right hand. Do you swear that the testimony you give pertaining to this case will be truthful and the penalty of perjury?
I do.
Okay, thank you. All right, so do you want to present your case?
You want to present your case? You don't want to vote?
Yeah.
I just need his name for the record.
Malcolm Hanson.
What was it?
Malcolm Hanson.
Thank you. I didn't get it when you came in that day. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay.
So as you've seen in the pictures, the property is pretty much sloped everywhere. We really don't have any outside space that we can utilize just because of the terrain. If we do entertain, we have anybody over like that, we have to move the cars out of the driveway into the street, so we have just a small little area just to kind of sit around like that. Additionally, we have family members that are handicapped, which makes it a little bit more difficult for them, getting in and out of the house. So this would give us a level surface on the property that we could utilize and enjoy our outdoor space. We can't do anything on the other side of the house because, as you've noticed, it's right on the property line. Literally on the property line. It used to actually go through the bedroom.
Right.
And pretty much it.
I think that's it, yeah.
Okay, so just to be clear, what I understand is you're proposing putting a, was it 16 by what?
10.
10
10 by 16.
10 by 16 deck on
The right-hand.
the right-hand corner of the house as you're looking at it from the street.
That's correct.
And then I assume you're adding a door to the house?
Yes.
Yeah, that doesn't affect us, but, so, okay. And so the result of that is the request for the variance on the distance to the center of the road, and it looked from the diagram as though that is, we need to verify, that's the only dimension that's affected, unless anybody's noticed anything else, right? So that's just the dimension to the center of the street, everything else is in order. You can sit down, by the way. So, does anybody have any particular questions?
I just have a couple.
Sure.
That's okay, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
It's nice to see this plot plan, in that it's got 2 stakes that show the 20-footer for the road. So on this, it shows the road is 20 feet wide. I'm assuming that the line they chose was the 10 feet in the middle of the road?
Correct.
Okay, that's, because I know we've gotten some, I think we had one a couple weeks ago, it was a country road, and we didn't know where it was. And yeah, so
So
How wide is it, where is it, because.
all the wagon wheels, I guess.
Yeah,
And the other one I have, and it may be a question for us as a board, is on the application it had under 1B. It
just a
had,
second, hold on, let us find that, where you're
Okay.
referring to that. On 1B, on page, which page is that?
page 7 of the application.
Okay,
It talks about the existing house was built before the orders was put into effect. I asked the question, is that a claim for pre-existing non-conforming use on the house?
the house was built in 1975.
75.
I looked at, so the
Okay.
house is an existing non-conforming use.
Okay. Does that then fall under our zoning, I'm just trying to cover a basis here, does that fall under an expansion of a pre-existing non-conforming?
Just adding the deck,
Yes.
well, that's an interesting question, because that, it doesn't affect the substance of what we're asking here, but it does affect the formality, because what you're saying is that the deck then becomes part of the footprint,
Correct.
and we changed the definition of footprint to include all external. So this is an expansion, so we're actually asking not just for the dimension. What you're saying is that it was actually, from perspective of the record, we're asking for an expansion of the
Right.
footprint.
Just in case this comes up, obviously we're granting a variance for perpetuity, and somebody may come in and ask that question. I think we should, I don't know if we should cover that.
I'm not, do you understand what he's talking about?
Not really.
Yeah.
You? Okay.
It's covered under 1.3 in our zoning ordinance.
Right, yeah.
And I looked at it, and it looks like it fits the dimensional, that is a square footage, it can't be a total of, it has to be 50% less, and of course, this is what, 160 square feet, and if you look at the building, it's,
Well, wait a minute, we changed the ordinance.
Mm.
Mark is responsible for this.
oh, recently, that's right. We did.
No, yeah, so the expansion, so that's, the point is that there's no allowable expansion. So if the expansion of the footprint is part of the thing, then formally, that is part of the variance request. That's,
Okay.
this is, okay. Now, that doesn't alter any of the substance here, so Kate, that's actually a technical question. Do you know, can we just amend to include, I mean, because, no.
You're thinking of it incorrectly. We fixed 1.3B that didn't guarantee you a right to expand by 50%.
Exactly.
So it makes anybody that wants to expand within the setback have to come to this board and ask for it. Versus before Bob
Boyd.
Babine.
Yeah, he would just kind of, and yeah, that's okay.
So, yeah, but this is right, this is,
No, excuse me, so, since, from the perspective of the planning board, if we simply address this from the perspective of the dimension to the center of the street, are we okay, or do we need to have, I mean, because there is an expansion of the footprint.
it is yeah, but our regulation no longer addresses that permissible expansion of footprint without a variance.
Oh, I see, so,
Okay.
I gotcha, or, okay, so the point is, they're getting a variance, and the footprint is no
So
longer
I-
part of the requirement.
So-
Jake, go ahead and say.
So if the setback wasn't an issue, say they were in a fine building envelope, would they still have to come before us to expand?
If they weren't in their setbacks, they wouldn't have to
Okay.
come back,
Okay.
so.
Yeah,
Good enough.
they would still have to come back for.
I was just trying to, in my head, try to make sense of
No,
what
well, I
he's.
understand, but, and that's why we're asking the question, so,
I thought-
if,
I thought I'd turned 1.3B off and permanently.
It's gonna haunt you the rest of your days.
here. Yeah, I looked at it and I went,
No, this 1.3B might have allowed them this expansion without a variance,
right.
but we removed any chance of an expansion.
Okay, let's read,
without-
unfortunately, I forgot to change my 1.3, can somebody read 1.3B the way we actually read it right now, just
Does
to
anyone
make
have
sure?
the newest?
This is a highly technical stuff, it doesn't affect the substance of what you've asked for.
George, do you have the newest one?
the 2022?
With me, I'm sorry.
No, it's 20,
2023, 24.
what's the
March
date?
of 24.
We should be getting new ones every year.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, mine says zoning ordinance of 2022, but as I
I can
read,
go, I can run upstairs and grab it.
unfortunately, the one that was put in my book says as
Doug,
of
it's
March
right online.
2011.
On our
Really?
website.
What's that?
I just don't bring it with me.
The town website has it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, let's just
Just
read.
the 24.
Finding it now, you know,
Finding it's,
Since they've updated the site.
yeah.
yeah, that's true.
1.3B, right?
1.3B.
Okay. Any structure existing at the time of the original passage
Just
of...
stop, that says 2011. That's
Oh,
what I
shoot,
mean,
it
is that
does.
we've
I'm
got,
sorry.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
what I
looked
looked
at
at.
Don't
that.
need
And
You
that
can't
didn't-
find it,
that
Doug,
didn't get
I can
updated.
I have my hands right, I can get my hands right on it upstairs.
That's all right, Doug's almost there.
Yeah, so where on the website do I find
Okay,
it?
okay, go back to the top. It's under general info. Whoops, hold,
Okay.
yeah, oh, there we go, okay, so then.
Regulations?
Regulations. Zoning ordinance, 2024,
2024.
okay. We are competent.
I got it if you want it.
Yeah.
You got it done?
Okay, yeah, we got it.
Once I get to the table of contents, 1.1, 1.2,
Wait.
1.3B.
There you go.
Any structure existing at the time of the original passage of this ordinance, March 1987, which does not conform to the maximum height limitations and/or minimum setbacks, shall have the right to continue indefinitely, or may be demolished and reconstructed within 1 year, provided the reconstructed structure shall be in the same location and of the same dimensions, height, and bulk as the original non-conforming structure, except that the reconstructed structure may differ in location, dimensions, height, or bulk to the extent such particular difference would make the reconstructed structure less non-conforming.
Okay, so it mentions nothing
But you
about
gotta read,
footprint.
you gotta read subparagraph 1,
All right.
non-conforming as to setbacks.
Non-conforming as to setback, legally established structures which do not conform to present setback requirements, including the shoreline setback, may be expanded in size provided the addition or expansion complies with current setback requirements.
Well, okay, but that's what they're asking is
it's a variance.
Is
a variance for the setback requirement. So
Right.
I just want to make sure we were going to trip over ourselves with language that had to do with the definition of the footprint. Okay, so we're clear.
Clear as mud.
Okay, so, sorry, that's highly
It's
technical.
okay.
Discussion which leaves us in the clear. Your house, obviously, in 1975, construction is allowed, obviously, to maintain that, and the request for the setback variance of 36 feet instead of 65 from the center of the road is the appropriate request. Okay. Any other questions? Hopefully Bill can keep his mouth shut. Just joking.
On the,
No, actually, this is very helpful because it clarifies a lot of issues, because when we're gonna deal with this 1.3B issue all the time, so
Anything
I do
otherwise,
appreciate you
really.
bringing it up. Even though it caused a little discussion, it helps in the long run.
Don't bring it up again.
I think it's the first time we have since we changed one
Yeah,
of the.
it is, yeah, which is why it's a helpful discussion.
on the, on the plot here, there's a, under where the deck is gonna go, there's a box. I can't read what it says, but it's got a X through it.
It says, what that says is the existing septic, and it says it's approximate,
Okay.
but it's actually a cesspool, not septic, and that's actually right up here.
Okay.
It's not there.
Okay, so you won't be building on top of it.
I know exactly where it is.
Okay.
I've dug it
I
up.
pointed it out too. the other
Yes.
day, Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so, alrighty, so did anybody make a site visit?
Yes, I did.
I did.
Okay, so, and we're in agreement with the issues associated with the incline and all that sort of stuff. There's really not, it's not an easy property to address particularly. Okay, so then, is there any other discussion? Do you have anything else you want to point out, or, I mean, I think you're clear, but I mean, I just want to give you a last chance before we close the public hearing.
I think I know that you came out, and I'm not sure who else, someone came by this evening while I was washing dishes.
I did, yeah, I
And
was
you can
thinking
just
in my
see-
truck, we're getting them, yeah.
Well, obviously, you can see that it's just a slope, and there really isn't any place to enjoy the outdoors.
Oh,
So
true.
that's all we wanna do, is just have a level area.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Yeah. Thank you.
And we are the only house on Little Loop Road that does not have a deck.
It does not have what?
I think I
Every-
did.
A deck, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Every single house has at least a small deck of one form or another.
It's pretty tight back there.
Yeah.
It'll give us another egress, we only have that.
One?
That's true. It would.
We only
Oh,
have
yeah.
one door,
Oh.
so this will give us a second
Oh, that's good.
way to get out.
There you
But
go.
I can fit through a window, he might have a hard time, I don't know what to go down another day.
Well, these are actually helpful comments to know that it's a second egress because it increases safety,
Safety, yeah.
Exactly.
which is a factor in our decision-making process. And also, it's helpful to know, what was the other thing that was just said?
Handicap.
Yeah, somebody said something about handicap, but, well,
Yeah.
the fact that every other house in the neighborhood has a deck
Yes, at some
means
point.
that it's not,
somewhere
it's
in-
not unique, because one of the other criteria that we address is
Exactly.
whether it's consistent with the neighborhood. So, so these are helpful observations to note.
And when we do, there is a level area, but it belongs to our neighbor, and they're wonderful to us, and if it's just him and I, we'll sit on their grass area, you know, and whatever, read and listen to music or something, but I'm really not that comfortable doing that.
I should say, as our attorney would say, you can give it the weight that it deserves, so to speak. But Dan Brown, who is their neighbor, said he didn't have time to write a response, but his comment was that he supports the idea because their property is, he's the neighbor that you're talking about.
That's
You
right.
sit on his lawn.
Yep,
He said, well, if they have a deck and they can sit on their own deck, he said that, you know, from his perspective as an abutter, he supports the idea of having this variance,
Yeah.
so,
Good, good.
yeah.
With that being said, motion to close the public hearing?
Second?
Okay, motion's been seconded. Any other discussion? No. All in favor?
I,
Aye, okay, so we're closing the public hearing. We will now address, we formally have 5 criteria which we consider the same ones you filled out, you know. So, variance will not be contrary to the public interest for the comments.
Well, they're not close to any other really, except their Dan neighbors, that it should cause anybody any distress.
Or safety issues or anything like that.
Well, actually, yes, so there's no safety issues for anybody else, but also it enhances their own.
Their own safety.
Their own safety because it's a second egress.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Are these part of the facts of the case we're doing now?
Oh, yeah, good point. We are obligated to list the facts of the case, which yeah, you're right, I neglected to do that. Okay, so let's detail facts. So,
House was built in 75.
house was built in 1975
The property is all sloped.
to, property is sloped, well, so that it's inconvenient, difficult to use for entertainment or relaxing. Okay, other items?
It'll be 36 feet from the center line of the road where 65 is required.
Yes, we have the closest point of the new deck will be 65 feet.
35.
36 feet.
Sorry, 36 feet
Sorry.
from the center line of the road.
And it meets the other setback requirements?
Yes.
Yes, just a second, let me finish writing this. Center of the road where 65 feet is required. Okay, all other setback requirements are met. Okay, then we also have the observation that it's the only house on the street
Without a deck.
without a deck.
You could include that encroachment on the center line setback is common
Right.
on that street, which we've established previously.
Right, encroachment on the 65-foot setback requirement is quite common in the neighborhood. Any other points of fact that are,
You had one butter verbally respond in favor
Alright.
of the
Alright, yeah.
project.
Yeah.
want a butter? In support.
He wants them off their grass.
Okay, anything else?
Hey, can we say anything about it's 3?
Bite shut tongue.
You could say 13B allows for the expansion of the footprint.
No, I don't think I want to do that,
No?
because 13B no longer mentions the footprint.
Okay,
And let's not complicate this.
okay,
Okay.
that's all I got.
Looks good.
Okay, so those are 7, I'll just review them quickly, 7 points of fact relevant to this case. The house was built in 1975, so that it's a non-conforming, existing non-conforming structure. The property is sloped so that it's inconvenient or difficult to use for entertainment or relaxation. 3, the closest point of the new deck will be 36 feet off the center line of the road where 65 feet is required. 4, all other setback requirements are met. 5, it's the only house on the street without a deck. Encroaching on the 65-foot setback requirement is quite common in the neighborhood. 7, one abutter verbally responded to the notice that in support of the variance. So those are 7 points of fact relevant to the case. So let's continue on any other additions, comments?
Allowing for a secondary exit? Or is that not part of
No,
this?
that's not a bad point. Okay, the property, okay, let's just add that. Okay, the addition of the deck. Will include a second exit from the home. Okay, good. So we're back to, so there's no safety issues for the neighborhood. In fact, the second egress enhances the safety for the owners. It's consistent with the neighborhood. In terms of having a deck as well as the common encroachment. On the 65-foot setback. Okay, so any additional comments on the spirit of the ordinance being observed relative to safety, health, or
Well,
nature of the neighborhood?
the other thing, it protects where the septic system is, and also where the propane line, if I'm correct, goes into the house. Those 2 things.
Okay.
You don't see the propane line, but I believe that's what you pointed out to me
That
when I
shows
was
the
there.
double line.
Yeah.
Okay. Alrighty, so, okay, we can add that, regarding safety, it also helps protect the septic area and propane line, okay. Okay, substantial justice is done. Let's see, what did you say about that? Any comment on that? I think we just have to say because it will allow and to say use of the property consistent with neighbors who all have decks. Oh, we also didn't mention that there was the health and safety issue is it enhances
Handicap access.
the handicap access, handicap use. Okay. Okay, so, are our fourth point there is the values of surrounding properties will not be diminished. Does anyone have any concern about property values?
No.
It'll be consistent with the surrounding properties.
I just simply say adding a deck will increase value with a positive effect. Literal enforcement of the provision of the ordinance will result in unnecessary hardship because the nature of the property slope restricts the use of the land. Add level deck. Necessary. Use the property.
We say some of the effect where the house is, there's a place to put a deck. So property line is right up against it.
Right, yes, and no alternative location for,
Are we allowed to ask the owners?
well, technically not now.
Okay.
There's no alternative location for the property, for the deck. Since the house is on the property line.
Then I'll make a comment.
Sure, go ahead and make a comment.
Where they have the grill may be possible over on the other side. Because if you've been on the property, it's a unique position to have
I'm sorry, what?
a grill. They have a grill tucked into the side of the house on the other. There's a picture of it.
Right, which one are you referring to? This one here? The girl took out the,
It's the grill, right?
is that what you're referring to, underneath the stairs? No, that's, you're talking about something else.
It's right. Did you? I thought we had a picture. Okay, looking at the house, on the left side, there's a little block that they put down that really is almost, it's on the other property. So this would allow them to put, I assume, the grill probably over on,
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean, yeah, okay.
so I would think that would be,
Oh, here it is. This, I see where you're looking right there.
okay, there, yeah.
So the grass is my neighbor's property.
Yeah, right next to the car, that's the one.
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
Correct.
Yeah,
There you go.
okay, so, no alternative, houses on the property line and, okay, I mean, it's a valid comment, but I don't know.
No, it's, I'm just wanting to.
Yeah. Does anybody want to add anything else to that, or do we want to go ahead and make a vote? We have a motion. We have a, can I enter?
Make a motion to approve the variance request for the construction of a 10-foot by 16-foot deck on the right front corner of the building.
Because,
Because everything we just talked about.
There's no other place to put it.
No. Meets all
Well,
the five
okay.
criteria.
Yeah.
all right, that's a simple, yeah, there is no other possible location. And
And it fits with the rest of
use is
the area.
a reasonable one, which enhances the safety of the property as well as usefulness. Okay, so, Kate, did you get that?
Not all of it, you were talking to yourself.
Oh, all right,
Do that to me.
right. Okay, so we had, read as far as you got.
All right, approve variance request for the construction of a 10 by 16 foot deck, and you said something else, Jacob.
On the right front corner of the existing building.
Because there is no other possible location and reduces a,
And the use
what was it?
is reasonable, a
Because there's
reasonable
no-
one, which enhances the safety of the property.
Because there's no other possible location and reduces,
No, reduces. Scratch that word. And
Okay.
the use is
okay,
a reasonable one,
yep, which enhances
the safety of the property.
And I never added the 36-foot setback.
Oh, okay, so you want to add,
I gotta add that.
right after 10 by 16, add 36 feet from the center line of the road.
So after the 10 by 16 foot deck,
On
30,
front right
36
corner
feet.
of the existing house, or whatever,
yeah,
which would only be 36 feet from the center line of the road.
36 feet from the center. Center line.
And then everything else you already had.
Okay,
That's my motion.
any? I didn't hear you.
That's my motion.
Okay,
And I seconded it.
okay, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, Kate, that's unanimous. If you need it, I don't think we need a roll call vote, but it's unanimous is clear. Okay, so you're granted the variance, and I have one more formality I need to read here. If one wishes to appeal, one must act within 30 days of the date of this notice, on this notice, of day one being tomorrow. The necessary first step before any appeal may be taken to a higher court is to apply to the Board of Adjustment for a rehearing. The motion for rehearing must set forth all the grounds in which one will base the appeal. For the statutes RS 77. Board members are advised to refrain from any discussion of an appeal with the board members on any party to the appeal until further appeal periods have expired. Thank you.
The alternate would like to point out that the signed the planning board approval was Mr. Mauer, who I served under in the 80s.
You must be old.
Before you were born.
Oh, my goodness. All right, well, good. So, I mean, you're welcome to hang around. We've got a formality to take care of. It have nothing to do with your case. But,
What is the next step?
oh, the next step is you will get a copy of the formal notice of decision. But I think, Kate, do you routinely forward that to Bob, or do they need to actually carry it to Bob?
I give it to them.
You give it to them. You'll need to take,
And
Bob
then
gets
we
a
will
copy.
see the,
He gets a copy of it. He gets a copy, it goes in their property file, it goes to our archive records, and it goes in their file.
well, the point is, you need to go back to Bob
Yes, I know
and
that.
make sure he's moving ahead. Like says Kate
You'll
said,
have
he
a
will
copy.
have available that letter of decision, but you'll get a copy of it, and if he says, I didn't get it yet,
We have to wait till we get the letter.
I'll get it, I have to have it out in 5 days.
Okay.
Yeah, and then
And
Bob will
at that
issue,
point,
he'll
come
issue
back
a
and I'll
building
see
permit.
Bob again, my best friend Bob.
well, I mean, you can tell him the outcome, and Bob
Okay.
can, but I don't know how fast he can proceed anyway, because tomorrow's
He's
Thursday and
got,
he's gone.
He just came back from a week's vacation and
He's still on
he's
it?
loaded up on his desk.
Well, anyway, bottom
Okay.
line is, the
And
next
then
step
we'll
is you
see him.
make sure Bob has the decision letter, and then you'll get your building permit.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Very much.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Tell Dan not to be in too big a hurry to take your little thing off his property. Okay, so, the next thing we have to deal with is the approval of draft minutes from July 17th. I think,
This is the 15-minute thing, took 2 hours.
Yeah.
yeah, right. And everybody that's here was, yeah, all 5 people who are
Except for
here.
Jennifer.
Well, Jennifer was there, but my point is Jake was there.
Yep.
Yeah, so he can vote on the minutes. So all 5 voting members were also, yeah, okay, so, okay, who has any,
Right off the
George?
bat,
Yeah, go ahead.
Mark Olson wasn't noted as an alternate on this.
Yes, I know, I
Oh,
saw that
sorry.
too.
Yeah,
I thought I got elevated, I thought I missed a meeting
Sorry
and you
about that.
elevated me.
well, that's why I quickly, I must have counted
From
10 times, I
Previous
said,
one, so.
I don't wanna look stupid, but that's, yeah.
And, go on.
On page 2, midway of that first paragraph where it says Gentile stated there are some of issues, doesn't need of.
Oh,
Or is that other?
It's OF,
no, there are some issues. You
There
said
are
there were
some
some issues,
issues.
and then the
Or
first
some
issue
other
is a rejected building.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
correct.
Got it.
Either one would work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Page 3,
yeah.
the second large paragraph down, 2/3 of the way. Dempster stated these are not 10 stakes,
Okay.
and they'll have screws, I think, and have screws.
These are not 10 sticks, oh.
And either they
And
have
they
screws.
have
They have
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it is, but it didn't sound
Yep.
right.
Spell check doesn't pick up everything when it's a word.
Then over to page 4. The large paragraph, second line, I'll just start with, going to stick with this property in perpetuity, and what we do not know in the future is that potentially, is that correct?
That's
Okay.
exactly, actually quoted.
After I'm reading it again, it sounds right, so for some
That's
reason
all
I
right.
thought that was.
I think, hey, I have to type them, so trust me.
And then page 4 again, way down the bottom, at the end of the larger paragraph, before the small little paragraph there, Schilling stated that does not believe it shows the entire property, not is.
Yep, spell check again. Word.
And a lot of that is stuff is going on page 5. First paragraph, almost near the end, 5 criteria, where you see,
Mhm.
we know the 5 criteria in which case
Are we?
Masconi, I don't think you need the is.
Where are we? Oh, that's very
Um,
good.
3 lines up from the bottom of the first paragraph.
Paragraph.
Okay.
Okay, which case Masconi, I don't think you need is.
No.
And once again, in the middle of the second paragraph of that same page, Masconi stated that as far as the wall, they are just Coleman blocks. Gentile asked, is a fence a wall, not, maybe it is a wall? I don't know.
No, is, take out the is a, Gentile asked,
Is a
is a
fence.
fence a wall? That's
A
what-
wall, that's
yeah.
what I
The
think
the
the is
really
was needed.
Picked up?
You like is?
No, I don't. I didn't like these either.
Okay, I saw nothing on 6. I saw nothing on 7. Nothing on 8. Nothing on 9. At the top of page 10, Gentile stated that the board needs to decide if substantial justice
Is.
was done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And then down where the roll call vote, you've got Dempster, which should have been McAllister, as a nay.
What, can't vote twice?
Okay.
And then on page,
Can't
land in New
I was
Hampshire.
gonna make a comment, but I'll keep it to myself.
Ouch, I was gonna say.
Pretty sure
Sorry,
we
George.
have some comments. on the
So,
last
so
ones.
which way was it? Was it Dempster, yea or nay?
It was no, Dempster doesn't need to be there. Dempster was right above
Yeah.
Right,
with an A, and that should have been McAllister, nay.
McAllister and Rao
Yes,
were
nay.
nay, and Dempster was
Now we-
A.
Aye.
Or I, whatever, however you wanna say it.
Hey,
I, who, oh.
Ahoy.
And then page 11.
Yep,
May 15, 24 meeting minutes, second line where it says Land Use Board's Administrator,
oh,
and he did find, some is correct, I think.
and he did find,
Some additional, not any, I was gonna put any, but,
Probably there should be a comma after the word administrator.
yeah,
so either some or any, whichever word fits.
gotcha.
And then, just below motion, that, small paragraph, Gentile stated that the vote needs to be made in two parts. Schilling stated that Martin needed to be elevated. That's it. That's all I've got, but
That was a toughie to
Good
do
job,
those
good job,
motions,
I
though.
read it.
Thank you.
Mine was- yeah.
Holy,
Of course, now you can't see this in the minutes, but I usually say Gentile instead of Gentile.
Gen-
oh,
You're
No,
not a
no
Gentile.
correction necessary on paper.
oh, I won't put that in there, no.
No, just joking around.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, okay, so does anybody else have anything they wanna
We
adjust in
have
the
to,
minutes?
hold on,
Bill, you,
we didn't,
no, we're not done necessarily collecting corrections. Bill,
I
we
did-
didn't we didn't vote on them yet.
No, no.
Oh, corrections, I'm sorry.
No, I'm still asking if anybody else has a correction.
Yeah, George
Okay.
hit on most of them. I just have one on page, a
Yeah.
couple, just on page 5.
Page 5.
At the top. It says, the sentence starts with Gentile stated, if the board denies the variance, the whole thing becomes irrelevant. And then next sentence, Dempster asked for a procedural standpoint, the board could accept the waiver request with a condition on it.
Yeah,
Should that say, could the board accept?
Dempster asked from a procedural standpoint, comma, could the board,
I
put,
Could the board?
could the board
the
accept?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
because it's a question.
Yes.
yeah,
Change.
the
Good.
board
Good call.
accepted, yes, you got it,
Okay.
got it.
Okay, page 9. About halfway down,
The big one?
the big one, what?
Big
The first
paragraph.
I'm sorry.
We're all getting punchy.
About halfway down, the sentence says Dempster stated he was still going back to the 16 by 40 structure.
Dempster stated.
And he believes that the board is moving towards compliance, and if we remove potential for the public, and it was potential input.
Yes.
Any other corrections?
Yeah.
Yeah, Doug?
Page 3. After the second motion by McAllister, it says, this motion was not voted on and did not pass. Well, that doesn't make sense at all.
Nope, it didn't, because you didn't vote on,
So it did not, so you can't say it did not pass because it wasn't voted on.
well,
Just say, I think it was not voted on, period. And then, down to one more where it says motion by McAllister, it says, Gentile nay, Schilling nay, Dempster nay, McAllister aye, Rao aye. The motion was voted and passed 3-2. That's not what the vote shows. The vote shows that it did not pass 3-2.
Or failed.
Whatever. There are 3 nays and 2 ayes.
Yeah.
That didn't pass, if that's the real vote.
So what do you want to put in there? Did not pass or failed?
Up to her.
Okay, the motion,
hold on.
Okay,
this
what is the
got
motion?
switched around so many
Say it again.
times.
well, which motion?
Right here, right
Yeah,
here.
yeah, no, I see where, motion by McAllister, seconded by, that Mr. Mosconi's structure is not considered a fixed structure.
Okay, so then the vote,
So
Yeah.
nay agrees with the zoning ordinance, and I
but,
agrees it's not a structure.
but you can't pass a motion with 3 nays.
Yeah, his point is that,
I
Yeah.
just put the motion passed unanimously.
yeah, well, the point is that the motion was that the structure is not to be considered a fixed structure.
Yeah, I think that's-
But we disagreed that that the structure, it is a fixed structure. And so the motion was that it's not a fixed structure, so when we said nay, 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 and
Right.
aye, then the motion failed.
Okay, so the motion failed
Yeah, right,
by a vote
3
of
to 2. There you go.
Yeah.
3 to 2.
Yeah.
Just leave it at that.
yeah,
That's fine.
Okay, gotcha.
So passed instead of failed instead of passed.
Anything else?
I'll
Oh.
gladly let anybody else go on and do these if you'd like. I'll pass them off.
Okay, can I entertain a motion to accept the minutes as amended?
So moved.
Second?
Second?
Okay. So Doug moved, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so is there anything else relative to administration? Okay, Kate,
I'm just gonna put in there due to grammatical errors, that's what I usually do, because there's nothing changed in context of these minutes, so just so you know, when I do that, that's what I do. I have a question though, because these minutes were approved tonight, they contained approval of the May stuff, so Chris, doesn't have these. Does that affect anything? Because from May, I'm gonna ask him if he wants.
you could
these.
ask him, but the reality is,
Yeah, I
you
started
have,
thinking about
but
it.
you have, okay, but the way that works is, you have a set of minutes, and then we approve them,
Yeah,
right? We approved them in July,
right.
right? But you gave him a copy, so we have
Of
a
the May.
of the May minutes after they were approved. Now, if it's relevant,
I'll ask him.
you can ask him, but the point is that we have procedurally approved the minutes, and those minutes, the May minutes, did have a number of amendments in them, so.
And we
but-
made
but-
those, he got that copy, but.
That's what I mean,
But we
he got-
voted on them in July, so that's I just didn't wanna, I wanna make sure that we're okay there, so I'll just
Yeah,
shoot an
if,
email.
right, well, the
Make
thing
sure.
is, okay, the way that would go down, because this is going to court,
Right,
right.
that's what he.
is it, if Chris has a question about the minutes, you could check with him on
I
it.
will.
But if he has a question about the minutes, then he would come back to you and say, is this what the minutes really said? So if he thought something was inconsistent, because he's gonna be, because that's what the judge is using.
Right, oh, absolutely.
Right, so, the reality is that the judge is probably already reviewing them, I mean, not necessarily today, but I mean, he'll definitely review them before October 6th.
Right, 9th,
Ninth, yeah, excuse me, yeah, so, yeah, so you would check with Chris
yeah,
how the official record has to reflect that.
yeah, because they don't have, it. So, I'll
But-
check with them.
Yeah, no, but the question is, does Chris need a copy of the July minutes that have been approved where the May minutes were approved, right? Is that what you're asking, for the certified record? Yeah, I think the reality is that I don't know how they do that,
I'll ask them.
yeah.
So I did get, do you folks want the 24-25 new books? They are,
This one?
yeah, I have 24-25, so I just got notification of them.
You know, I'll be honest with you,
Is there,
I almost always, I mean, I refer to the RSAs quite often, but I almost always go online.
Yeah, me too, because it's up.
Because they're
I
up to
feel-
date.
I feel more confident on.
Yeah, so I mean, I'd be happy to save the town the money
Okay,
because,
I just wanted to ask
Yeah.
because I know some people want a hard copy. Okay,
well, I think it's okay if somebody specifically wants a hard copy, but I think unless somebody specifically asks, then don't get them for us.
I mean, it's nice to have at the meetings, you know, you can look at it as a reference
Well,
point.
yeah, I mean, I think you could have one in the
I
office.
think
and
I'm gonna
bring-
get one for the office and I'll have
And
it,
bring
so
it
if
in.
anybody
Or bring
wants
it,
it.
yeah, because I think we do want to refer to them occasionally, but the reality is, you know, it's one more thing for my bookshelf.
I was gonna get one, but I just didn't know if you, I'm
No,
just offering
yeah,
to everybody else.
right.
Okay, I'll
Ends
have
up
one
riding-
upstairs, I have them
Riding
all
around
up
my
there.
Well-
backpack getting destroyed.
It would be handy if we actually, okay, two things. One is, we do need a copy of the current RSAs in the meeting.
Yeah, so I
Right.
can bring the book down, but there's also an ebook that I can do. So I'm wondering if I can do if I have an ebook.
Think I charge you per copy though?
I don't know, I'm gonna find out, but if I do an ebook, why couldn't I just email it to everybody?
Well, we can just link to the general court site and we're up to date.
That too,
Yeah, because.
that's where I go,
Yeah, because the reality is that if they pass a law and then the general court,
I get notification of laws that are passed automatically anyway on my computer.
right, but my point is that when it goes into effect, then the general court site is updated.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right, and then we don't have to wait for the next year.
All right, I'll just get a book, have it, and I'll bring it down here for each meeting if anybody needs it.
Okay,
And I'll bring the zoning ordinance with me every time now. I don't usually bring it down, because I've given it to everybody, so I don't always bring that with me.
yeah, I'm trying to figure out, I thought you gave us a copy. and-
I did.
But you know, I think what happened was I didn't have a 3-hole punch, and so
Oh,
it's sitting on my shelf waiting to be punched.
well, I'll bring them down with me when I come down every month. I'll just bring it down. It's easy enough to bring down. We need it.
Yeah, we
Okay.
reference that more in the RSA
Yeah.
book.
I'll bring it down.
Okay, so does anybody else have anything else administrative? Okay, great, then. I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Wow.